Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everyone's having a blessed morning. I am having a blessed morning. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. This is a blessed morning. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Excuse me for clearing my throat. Yes. I want to get into this topic, right? But before I get into this topic, I got another real estate agent company that I used to work for, right? And on that's coming out today at 1:30. So I want you guys to hit the notification bell, and I hope that this can be a learning experience for you guys, and this can motivate you and push you, right, to becoming the best person that you can be in life, that it has to offer in this life. This is really important to improve your conditions, right? This is also important to help you to recover from a dark time in your life, or some hurdles or some obstacles that's in your life, right? I'm going to give you some of my experience, and I hope and pray that this video and this content can help you and your family out. So I used to work for a company called Tucker Away. This wasn't my first job, but it was a job where that I could display my my hidden skills, my talents that I had there, right? That I had to offer to the world and to this company, right? Which didn't know about my skills, right? And some of the skills that I had, later on I'm going to tell you how I got there. Um, some of the skills that I had was painting, was actually building units, building stuff. Remember, I always was Austin the Builder. I always was Austin the Builder or Austin the Fixer of just everything like refrigerator, TV, stereo systems. When I was young, I always was fixing stuff, right? And I was painting, changing balances. Balances is like it's a transform that you put inside a light fixture, and it changes the light basically. Sometimes the light bulb is not blowing out. You have to change the balance, and the company had balances there. So these are some of the skills that I have. Was painting, right? That's number one. And number two was changing balances. So that put me ahead of the game of fixing a lot of things. I wouldn't know that till later on. And I want to give it back a big shout out to Mr. Wellman. His name is Wellman. This was a brother. This was an indigenous brother. He was always sharp. He was always sharp when he came into work. I think that he was a program director, or he was, because he worked in the back office. And this was in Tucker Way. This was on Broadway, on 132nd on Broadway by the one train, right? 125th, by the McDonald's over there. If anybody know that, you know that this is from Harlem, basically, right? So I landed this job is because I really needed a job, right? This was us after like 9/11. I really needed a job, because all the jobs I had lost. Basically, I got laid off at my construction job, so I basically needed a job. So my sister, she was working for Wildcat. She was working for Wildcat up in the Bronx, and I needed a resume done. Because I think I was going to a program back then, and I didn't know how to do resumes at the time, but she knew how to do resumes because she was working in this building, this old building up there on Fordham, the telephone building. If anybody know, it's up there on Grand Concourse. Forgot the it was a telephone building, and they had an agency in there. I think it was Wildcat. She was working for Wildcat or Faircap. I think it was Faircat or Wildcat, one of them. But she was working in there as a clerk or something. She was, I went over there and she did my resume really fast. So basically, after I got my resume done, I put my resume out there and tuck it away. Basically, they gave me the interview. They gave me the interview, and this was in the early 2000s, and this was when minimum wage was really, really low. Minimum wage was really, really low back then, and I was really young. I was in my 20s. Yeah, I was in my 20s yeah, I was in my 20s. So that was my beginning to becoming a real estate agent, but I didn't really know. How you doing? How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Right? So, um, so I gotta tell a story right here, okay? J2, just give me a second. I gotta tell the story. I'm gonna get back to you, okay? So I landed the job. I got the job. I did the interview with Mr. Wellman. You had two people there, Mr. Wellman and Side. Side used to play for back in the days in Harlem, he used to play for the Negro Leagues. That's what I heard. He used to play for the Negro Leagues. He was like real tall, right? And what I was told was the owner that owned Tuck It Away, that had some money, that owned Tuck It Away, used to have some type of shares in the Negro League and playing basketball. And Side used to be playing basketball Side, basically. Okay, fast forward. So they open up these companies, right? And they had a company on Broadway. Well, they had two buildings. The main building was on 132nd on Broadway, Tuck It Away. Then they had one on 131st. Then they had one up there by 135th, I think, in Broadway, somewhere up there, if I can remember, right? But I worked in all of these buildings. When I started working there, right, I went on a couple of jobs. So I started learning the job. I started learning the customers, right? I started learning how to play Tetris with the boxes, meaning with the items that the customers had to put inside their room. Remember, this was self-storage, so you really couldn't help the customer. That's what they said. You couldn't help the customer play Tetris. You couldn't help the customers put their items in the room just in case, I guess, for lawsuit reasons. They didn't want nobody to help the customers. That's why it was called self-storage. But they will give you free moves. So it was our job to pick up the customer's items, right? So I started going out a couple of moves. But I noticed that there was a lot of guys that was working there. And I'm not gonna say their names. I remember their names. These guys was nasty and rude. So I had to figure out, because now, in order to make money, because this was during the time of minimum wage. Minimum wage was real, real low. It was low. I think it was $5.15. The minimum wage, it was $5.15. Right? Yep, it was $5.15. So I went on a couple of moves, right? And I was getting tips. I was giving ideas to these guys. I just came with a job. They had a little crew of them. It was just me. I'm not gonna tell you the whole story how it went down, but I'm taking this and I'm looking at this new opportunity as for me to learn. So what did I do was I went to Mr. Wellman. He was like one of the big bosses, but he wasn't a boss. But if he says something, the bosses will take it in consideration. Basically, Mr. Wellman. I think he dealt with marketing. I think he dealt with marketing and strategy, Mr. Wellman. That's what I think. Or advertising. It had to be one of those two. But he was a figure there. Cool. Mr. Wellman liked me. So I went to him, I said, first, um, I started cleaning up around the facility. Started cleaning up real good. I started cleaning up the offices. I started making myself known. I started making myself accessible. So Mr. Wilman, I guess the boss pulled him to the side. He said, "Does that new guy have any skills like trade skills? Does he have painting?" Mr. Wilman said, "Hey, Austin, do you know how to paint?" I said, "Yes, I know how to paint." So he said, "Okay, I need you to paint this spot just right here." It was a caution line by the elevator, basically, right? So he said, "Listen, here goes some paint, here go a brush. Let's see your skills." So I put the tape down. And I started painting. He said, "Wow, Austin, wow, this is really good." Then he brought the boss out. He brought the boss out and his son, and they was looking at my work. So now they took me they took me off the moves, right? They took me off the move, and they took me like, cause you had to do free moves basically, right? So I'm not getting no more tips now. Now I'm not in the move. Now they put me inside the warehouse. Now most of the people, when they put you in the warehouse, basically you in there not doing nothing. You're not basically doing nothing because you don't have no skills. Your thing is just to move, right, and get tips. And this is what these guys was doing. They was moving and getting tips. I said, nah, I got to utilize my skills that's already inside of me. So I utilized my skills. But in the same token, I started learning to be a real estate agent. I started showing units. So Mr. Wilman, like, "Austin, can you show these customers units?" I started showing them units. I started cleaning the units out. That's when I started learning about square feet and inches inside this space. Right? So now the bigger the space is, the more money it is. So once I started learning that, it was a short period of time, but once I started learning that, I started adapting it, and then I started adding in my maintenance skills of painting and changing balances and building storage units up. This is exactly where I learned it at. So I started using all of my skills. So now all of my skills took me out of the actually move every day because they was making their money, being that they was getting minimum wage, right? In order to get more money and tips, you had to do more moves. And these moves was walk-ups. A lot of these moves was in Harlem, in Manhattan. And in Harlem and Manhattan, there's a lot of walk-ups in the buildings and heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. You would have to remove the whole people apartment because for whatever reason, maybe they was switching, they're going to somewhere else, or they're going to another state, or I don't know. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? So I did a couple of moves. I learned from a couple of moves. But my thing was to use my skills and talents to get off the truck, to get more money. So remember, I told you this was minimum wage, so I used my skills. This is in Tuck It Away, early 2000s. The company's called Tuck It Away. There's no more Tuck It Away. Now it's Extra Space. I don't know if they changed the name and built more business, but I know it's Extra Space now because where Tuck It Away storage companies was, now it's Extra Space. So fast forward, I started using my skills. So Mr. Wilman and the boss, they started sending me to different locations that they had in Manhattan and in the Bronx. So my objective was to show the rooms and sell the rooms, which I mastered them, right? But my job was to build storage units that was damaged and to paint. So it kind of worked out. I stood there for maybe like a year, maybe like 15 months. Then I got wind of, I'm going to tell you that story. I ain't going to get into that. But the objective is, and why I'm saying is that this was my beginning into becoming a real estate agent. Was Tuck It Away was my foundation and my beginning of becoming a real estate agent, right? Because it wasn't just about selling storage units to customers. It was about taking pride and joy into the work that you was do. Remember, I took pride and joys in changing balances and changing light bulbs. Now I'm not just a mover, moving people in, moving people's stuff in and out of storage. No, they took me off the truck and becoming a mover and sort of put me as a real estate agent inside the warehouse. Basically, I was learning the computers. I was learning from the property managers, from the managers at the location. I was learning the computer. I was learning, man. They was, yeah, I was learning. I was learning how to sell the units and also fixing things and also cleaning. So when the bosses saw that, they was like, this guy is amazing. They didn't tell me that, but I actually knew. Then my paycheck went up because now it's a different salary. Remember, I was getting $5.15 an hour. And this was back in the early 2000s. I forgot what year it was, but it was the early 2000s. I know it probably was after 9/11. It was after 9/11. I know that for sure. After 9/11. Yeah. This was had to be '02, '03, around that time. Around that time, '02, '03, something like that. '02, '03. So back then, the minimum wage was really, really low. So now, being that I'm getting $5.15 an hour, it jumped up to $8.45, and nobody didn't know I was getting $8.45 an hour, right? So that helped me out back then. That helped me out. Now I'm not getting $5.15. I'm getting $8.45 an hour, and I'm staying in the building, and I don't have to go on no moves. I don't have to go on any moves to walk up all those walk ups. Killing your knees, killing your back and stuff like that, all this heavy stuff, And I was really, really young, I was doing it. But the moral to the story is that was my beginning into becoming a real estate agent, right? And a maintenance tech. All of this at the same time. So I had to utilize my skill to bogart my way in, to show, right, people that was in charge that I had the skills, the intelligence to make things happen, where they didn't have to go on the outside, right? They didn't have to go outside to hire these contractors. They had me there, and I was willing to do the job, even though these contractors, right, these subcontractors they would have had to pay more money, but they had me there, so that's why they upped my pay. And that's how I began to build on my skills that was better, because now I'm in the field, right? And this carried me all the way up until right now. This is why I said, don't never give up on your situation, because you don't know what's around the corner for you. And it's really, really a benefit for you. So this is how I started out to become a real estate agent from Tuck It Away. From Tuck It Away. That's right. This is how I started to become a real estate agent. And I had firsthand. I didn't go to no school or nothing like that. And see, they didn't have the programs. They didn't have the certificates there and the rewards there at the time, right? Either you had it, and I was the one that had it. And when you have special abilities and special talents, it breeds hatred and jealousy. It breeds hatred and jealousy because people see that you're no longer is going to be doing this job right here. That's considered, on a lower level. On a lower level. Now you up there in a higher level. Now you up there rubbing elbows with the bosses, with the managers, with the property managers, with the region managers. You understand what I'm saying? Because you putting forth the effort. And this is what you do. You spread your talent out. Your talent and your gifts and your blessing that you have, that the Creator give to you, and you can make it happen, beloved. You can make it happen. And that just some of my story of becoming a real estate agent. This is Tuck It Away, the company that I started in when I was making minimum wage, $5.15 an hour, that turned into $8.45 an hour. So now I'm making money way above minimum wage, which brings more money for me and my loved ones at the time. And I was doing my thing. How you doing, Charlie? Hey, I'm back. How you doing, Charlie? Said, turn down the line. Mike is screaming. So, whoever asked me to give an interview, I can give an interview because I got the skills, I have the knowledge, I have the understanding, and I have the intellect. Because, you know, I worked at 153 companies before. And all of these companies I have built upon my skills, upon skills. And each one of these skills are a career. Each one of these skills are a career job that you can build a lifetime on and you can make money off. Feel me? Charlie, I hope you and your loved ones are doing good. Yes, Charlie, thank you so much. Yes, we are doing good. And we are blessed and highly favored among the Creator and Alpha Omega, the creating everything in existence. So this is my video, right, and my content on becoming a real estate agent. And real estate agents make a lot of money. I think, yeah, they make a lot of money. It's off commission. Hit the notification bell. I'm going to go another company where that I gain more skills, right? The company is Tuck It Away. It's Tuck It Away. It's Tuck It Away. So I want you to, I'm going to go live again at 1:30. Please hit the notification bell from those that's subscribing to me and watching me and that's already subscribing to me. I'm going to detail the story about Tuck It Away, how I was there from 07 to, I was there for a minute. I was, from 07 to all the way to 2013, I was there, to 2013. I was there in that company, and that's going to be a really, really good one. And I'm going to get into it on where my skills basically went to this. It went skyrocket. It went really, really high, my skills. Thank you so much, Charlie. I love you too. Thank you so much. I really want to get a job because right now we have not that much food, but we are doing good. Love you, my dude. Yo, I'm going to pray for you, right? I'm going to pray for you right now that the Lord can bless you because I know it's really, really hard and difficult out here. I know it's really, really hard and difficult for out here, and I don't know where you at right now, but I want to pray for you. Tell your grandmother happy related birthday. Happy related birthday, right? Charlie, I want you to understand that everything's going to be okay, right? Right now, this is a time where that you can reflect. I want you to hold to yourself. I want you to pray to the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything. Listen, I'm going to pray for you right now, Charlie. Oh, my Lord, please watch over Charlie. Oh, my Lord, please provide Charlie with a job and with the knowledge of understanding. And please give him patience and endurance during this difficult time where he is looking for a job and looking for food and looking for the necessities that he needs each and every day to feed him and his loved ones. Please bless him, my Lord. Please watch over Charlie and his loved one and his family and his grandmother, Charlie, and all of his loved ones. Please help him and provide him with a job and substance where that he can take care of himself, and his loved ones. Thank you, my Lord. 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 You're welcome, Charlie. You're welcome. And we all need to do that for one another over here. Please like, share, subscribe to this information. Get the information out. Share this content because a lot of other people may not know how to become a real estate agent. And I'm going to break that down, right? And becoming a real estate agent and how you can make a lot of money. And it has to do 95%. It has to do with what? It has to do with customer service. 95% has to do with customer service, right? And being amazing to customer. How you doing, Sam? Good morning, y'all. Good morning. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in to me and watching me. Please, whatever you do, don't forget that I'm going live at 1:30 to talk about Storage Deluxe. We're going to take off from right there. And I'm going to tell you everything that I've been through and what happened, basically. Storage Deluxe. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have an amazing Sunday. Thank you so much. Peace. Peace.